But I want to ask you a little bit about the book that you wrote, "The State of Islam in Black America,"
Hmm.
which had a lot of facts, which was a basic overview of the state of Islam in Black America. If you can just talk about a little bit of your thesis and your main objective in writing that book.
Well, my main objective for writing the book was really just to try to get a real time overview or give a real time overview of where things stand. I'm talking about specifically 21st century America, because one of the challenges that at least I've found in my life as a Muslim and in my 3 decades now of being involved in this work is sometimes we try to look at Islam in this, in this narrow way, and we don't really look to give it specificity. And the reason I say that is because Islam in 21st century America is a completely different thought process, practical application, and everything else that goes along with that than just Islam generically in some other place. So the objective of the book, first and foremost, we had to kind of ground it in a brief history lesson, just to give an overview, because that's another challenge that we find, Brother Hamid, is that sometimes people would enter into conversations and they think that their points are, right and exact. And, we start out every engagement hoping that the other person is correct and that, that we're wrong and that the truth is with them. But that doesn't, negate the fact that many people start conversations and they really start in the middle because they don't have any context of how this thing all began. And then when you start having conversations like that from the middle without having a clear understanding of how we got to this point, then you leave a lot to be desired. So we really focused on 3 phases: examining the past, assessing the present, looking toward the future. So that's why we made the intentional effort to make sure that we had a lot of a lot of stats and a lot of data, because this thing also is data driven. I mean, we can get caught up, like sadly I see so many people do online. We get, when everybody's passionate about their arguments and everything, we get caught in our emotions. But then there's the data. There's
Right,
raw
right.
data, raw numbers we can look at. We already have the eye test. We can travel around to masajids and centers throughout America, and invariably, any city that I go to, with a few exceptions, which we'll get into either this podcast or another one, there's a few exceptions, but in most places, you go to any city and there's a black masjid and there's an immigrant masjid,